Hi, welcome to Coffee and Chatter. There's coffee in here. So, today I want to talk about NewSpeak. I read an article that prompted me to put down a few thoughts. Back in the day, before this dreaded COVID lockdown, and when I was still leaving the house in the morning, at least 5 days a week going to work, I would still periodically have conversations with people outside of my immediate family, if you can believe that. Sure, we might disagree at times, but we were civil. We would each make our point. So there was this one individual I would, on a pretty regular basis, debate, argue with, and although he claimed, and I'm not saying I doubt it, but he made claim to being evangelical Christian, but he seemed a little bit too sympathetic for my liking towards Islam. One of his arguments was that Malcolm X, as he grew in knowledge and went through his change in views, would have eventually become a Christian if he had lived long enough. It was inevitable, essentially, is what he said. Me? I couldn't make that leap of logic. There was just not enough supporting evidence. Again, I believe my friend's point of view is based on trying to give Malcolm X the benefit of the doubt. In other words, extending both sympathy and empathy towards Malcolm. Now, while I looked upon Malcolm X and thought his evolution from hater to a man of peace was admirable, I still could not make that logical leap required to connect him to Christianity. But apparently, it made my friend feel good to hold that view, I guess. And I imagine he used that to justify some of his other views about the black experience and Islam. He was very reluctant to put Islam down or criticize it. So, the black Muslim movement, which is where Malcolm X got his start in Islam, seems to me to be based upon a radicalization of what I would call Middle Eastern or traditional historic Islam. In black the black Muslim movement seems to be based on a hatred for the white devil. Eventually, Malcolm X saw through that and he moved closer to what I would consider historic or Middle Eastern Islam, as I've called it. Now, I don't see anything I've read or learned about Islam that would make me think it directs any of its adherents towards Christianity, short of an actual conversion experience that all Christians have to experience. In fact, I don't see anything in either Judaism of today or Islam that make it any easier for any individual to make the transition to Christianity. They're both false religions with respect to Christianity. Remember that the Judaism of today is not the Judaism of Jesus' time. That was over 2,000 years ago, and ultimately that Judaism culminated in Christianity. The only thing, thus, that effectuates the move to Christianity is true repentance. It seems to me that Islam was and still is a repudiation of the basic tenets of Christianity. If you've never read a book or serious article about the beginnings of Islam, it might be interesting if you care to find something like that out. So where am I going with all this? As I said earlier, NewSpeak, I just read a piece about the development of Orwell's NewSpeak and how it's being used by the left today to radically alter thinking in their ultimately society. I'd encourage you to look at the article. It can be found at a website called Gen Z Conservative, GENZ Conservative.com, and then just search for the Orwellian vocabulary of snowflakes. That's the title. So, how's this all tie in with what I just said about Malcolm X or Islam, which is really just an example? Have you ever been in a conversation and the statement is made, well, you have to respect that opinion, or you have to respect them for that? It's aimed at seeking acceptance of what one might view as wrongheaded or more correctly, outright error. I'm going to be clear about this. I hold a worldview that is based on my reading of the Jewish Christian scriptures for years and years and years, and what I've been able to learn and understand about the teaching of Jesus and his apostles. If you hold a different view, whether it's as simple as being purely doctrinal, or whether it's based on some other radically opposed view of life, such as Islam compared to Christianity, or anything, Buddhism, some other profession of faith, or what you might claim no faith at all, but is actually everything's faith. Well, I don't respect those views. And I don't respect you for holding them, because they're wrong, in my opinion. I respect you, but I don't respect those views. My respect for you stops at the line of you being a fellow traveler with me in time, a human being. For me to respect a point of view that I hold to be completely contrary to my own views, my own worldviews, seems to suggest that I would understand why one might hold those different views and accept that such views might be correct, and I don't. Again, I respect others as human beings. We all deserve that respect. And I allow for the freedom of thought and religion that has brought others to hold views and see things quite differently than I do. But I do not respect the views. And I will not say anything good about them. How can I respect views that are completely contrary to everything I myself believe? That might be a pretty good explanation of madness. So this is where NewSpeak comes in. This whole new cancel culture thing, to me, got its start in asking, nay, demanding, respect for views of others that were contrary to one's own views. Whether it's about LGBTQ or abortion or immigration, instead of now being differing points of view, if you don't hold the point of view of these leftists, you're evil. If you don't concur with specified points of view that they've outlined, you become evil. Now, you want to talk about a lack of respect? That right there is a lack of respect. Let's take an example, abortion. It's not the only one. It's just I want to explain how this NewSpeak is used. Abortion advocates love to muddy the waters by suggesting that they are not killers or radical abortion enthusiasts, but they're simply pro-choice. At the same time, they like to paint pro-life advocates as anti-abortionists or anti-choice. This is an attempt to evade the whole idea of what abortion is. It's a smokescreen they throw up. Abortion is not a simple medical procedure like having your appendix removed. Abortion is the wanton destruction of life, human life in the womb. That being the case, pro-life advocates are opposed to the extinguishing of innocent human beings while still in the womb. There is no point of compromise in such cases. Life is life is life. Now, abortion has been stated to us as being a medical procedure that was, in days gone by, possibly mostly conducted in early pregnancy. And in fact, when it started to become more prevalent and when legitimacy was pressed for, legality, in order to conceal what was going on, we were told that, hey, there's no worry. I mean, life has not yet begun at this young age. The fetus is still just a clump of cells. And like a cancer tumor, it can be removed without future consequence. Unfortunately, for the abortion advocates, we have now become a more highly enlightened society and have been told that in all cases we will follow the science. That said, the pretext for early abortion, that the child was not yet a living being, that has been shown for the lie that it always was and is. And look where it's gotten us. It has given us abortion up until and at times after the moment of birth, including the horror of late-term abortion, where the body of the child is drawn out of the mother, leaving the head inside the birth canal, which can then allow the statement to be made that birth has not yet been completed. And then the head is subsequently crushed, thus allowing for the easy removal of the now dead child. That is NewSpeak. We are told that that is reproductive health care or reproductive health services. That is murder. I'm going to close it out now, and I just want to relay one quote that was in the article I mentioned from Orwell. He said, "Don't you see that the whole aim of NewSpeak is to narrow the range of thought? In the end, we shall make thought crime literally impossible because there will be no words in which to express it." End of quote. That is a pretty profound statement. Thought crime. To make thought, I mean, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep us from thinking certain things. Well, how easy is it to make a person, to keep a person from thinking something when they don't know the words? I mean, me, I'm over the bridge, right? I already know all the words. But in the schools, they're just changing it all. Getting rid of Dr. Seuss, getting rid of this. Who's next? Speedy Gonzales. And the kids won't know the words. There won't be any thought crime because everybody will toe the line. Well, I hope I made some headway and hope to see you next time on Coffee and Chatter. Thanks.